Global News Roundup, August 16th, 2025. The world woke up today to a mix of diplomatic tensions, natural shocks, sporting excitement, and humanitarian concerns. From Europe's cautious stance on Palestinian statehood to an unexpected earthquake in Australia, and from high-level border talks between India and China to the upcoming Women's Rugby World Cup, August 16th brought a wide spectrum of global developments. Below is a comprehensive look at today's most important stories. Europe and the Middle East. Denmark's careful stance on Palestinian statehood. In a significant political statement, Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen declared that Denmark is not yet ready to formally recognize a Palestinian state. According to her, such recognition can only come when a viable and democratic Palestinian state is established, one not influenced by Hamas or extremist groups. This position reflects a growing debate in Europe. While some European Union nations have moved forward with recognition, others remain cautious, fearing that premature action could deepen regional instability. Fredrickson stressed the importance of a solution that involves mutual recognition between Israel and Palestine, with an emphasis on security guarantees for both sides. The statement comes at a time when tensions remain high in Gaza and southern Lebanon, where Israeli and Hezbollah clashes have continued to escalate. The humanitarian situation in Gaza is particularly dire, with food and water shortages sparking growing international concern. Asia. India and China set to resume border negotiations. Turning to South Asia, diplomatic focus is shifting toward the long-disputed Himalayan border. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi is scheduled to visit India next week for bilateral talks with Indian External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. The talks will be held under the Special Representatives Mechanism, which has been dormant for several months. India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval is also expected to play a central role. The agenda will cover the Line of Actual Control, LAC, where recent skirmishes have heightened tensions between the two nuclear-armed neighbors. Both sides are signaling a willingness to stabilize relations, but analysts caution that progress will be slow. The talks come against the backdrop of growing U.S.-India strategic ties and China's efforts to consolidate its regional influence. Australia. Earthquake strikes Queensland. In an unusual geological event, southeastern Queensland experienced a magnitude 5.6 earthquake today. The tremors were felt across Brisbane and the Gold Coast, sending residents rushing out of homes and offices. Although no major structural damage or casualties have been reported so far, authorities have urged citizens to remain cautious in case of aftershocks. Australia, unlike countries along the Pacific Ring of Fire, does not usually experience large quakes, making this event particularly striking. Emergency services remain on high alert, while scientists are assessing whether this tremor is connected to broader seismic shifts across the region. International affairs. A week of high-stakes diplomacy. The past week has been dominated by major international developments that continue to shape the geopolitical landscape. Former U.S. President Donald Trump met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska, marking another chapter in the complex U.S.-Russia dialogue. However, the much-anticipated meeting ended without a ceasefire agreement in Eastern Europe. Meanwhile, Washington, D.C. has been grappling with domestic political unrest, with law enforcement clashing with demonstrators over civil rights issues. In South Asia, Pakistan and India have both been hit by devastating floods, which experts link to the intensifying effects of climate change. Entire communities have been displaced, and humanitarian agencies are appealing for urgent international aid. In Gaza, worsening shortages of food, water, and medical supplies have added urgency to international calls for a ceasefire. Aid agencies warn of a looming health catastrophe if immediate relief is not allowed in. Sports. Diamond League and Women's Rugby World Cup. On the sporting front, Poland is hosting the 2025 Silesia Diamond League, one of the final track and field competitions before the World Championships. Athletes from around the world are treating this as a critical test of form, and fans are anticipating several record-breaking performances. Meanwhile, the spotlight is also turning toward women's rugby. The Women's Rugby World Cup pools were officially announced, setting the stage for an exciting tournament. Pool A. England as hosts are expected to dominate, though Australia and the United States are considered strong challengers. Pool B, Canada looks to top the group, while Scotland and Wales are locked in a battle for advancement. Pool C, defending champions, New Zealand are clear favorites, with Ireland and Japan expected to struggle against their firepower. Pool D, France and Italy are well matched, but the spotlight will also be on Brazil, making its debut in the tournament. The event has been hailed as a milestone for women's sports, with growing global viewership and investment signaling a new era of recognition for female athletes. Climate and humanitarian outlook. The dual crises of flooding in South Asia and the humanitarian situation in Gaza reflect the ongoing challenges facing international aid networks. Climate-related disasters are becoming more frequent and severe, while protracted conflicts make relief efforts increasingly difficult. Global leaders face mounting pressure to deliver not only emergency aid, but also long-term solutions that address the root causes of instability, whether environmental, political, or economic. Conclusion. August 16, 2025, has proven to be a day rich in global developments that capture the interconnectedness of our world. From Denmark's cautious diplomacy to Australia's rare earthquake, from India-China border negotiations to women's rugby making headlines, today's events underscore the complexity of the modern international landscape. The coming weeks will determine whether today's dialogues lead to progress or deepen divisions. In the meantime, humanitarian crises remain the most urgent challenge, demanding global cooperation in a world already stretched by conflict, climate change, and political uncertainty.